So a different video for today. I'm going to do a test on these 3 drills. Now these 3 drills are all purchased by me. No one has sent me anything, so there's no bias to any particular brand or drill. This drill I use particularly for woodworking. This one is for outside work usually, and masonry stuff. And this one I've only purchased in the last couple of weeks. I've hardly used it. So I don't know myself which is the better performing drill. But I'm going to do a series of tasks. And we're just going to see which one comes out on top. So I'm going to be marking the drills on a scale of 1 to 3, 1 being the worst, 3 being the best performing drill. So first of all, as you can see, all these drills come with a charger and 2 batteries. Unfortunately, I would like to test the amount of drilling you can do on 1 battery charge, but it wouldn't be a fair test because the Hitachi comes with 2 1.5 amp hour batteries. The Stanley comes with 2 2 amp hour batteries, and the Aeg comes with 2 2.5 amp hour batteries. So it wouldn't be a fair test to do that. So before we look at the drills, it's important to point out that they're all combi drills. They all have 2 speeds. The Hitachi one has a high and a low speed, and the Stanley and the Aeg just have 1 and 2. So if we look at the Stanley Fatmax first, it's a Stanley Fatmax FMC625. I bought it for £80 around 2 years ago, and it came in about a medium-sized plastic case with some metal clasps, and you can store the battery and charger in it, but you can also put the odd drill bit in and a few screws in the case should you wish to carry it about. This is the Hitachi Dv1 DGL. Now I know Hitachi have recently become Hikoki, but you can still get many Hitachi tools including this drill on the market. I paid £100 for this around 3 years ago, and it came in quite a small case. You can just about squeeze the battery and charger in it and the drill, nothing else. And then we've got this new Aeg drill. It's an Aeg Es B18c B. I will say this is the only brushless drill out of the 3 of them, and I paid £95 for it. This did come in quite a large case, and you can store quite a few accessories, wall plugs, screws, drill bits. Now the Hitachi and the Aeg drill, they both have lights at the bottom here, so if you pull the trigger, they both light up. This one does stay on a little bit. And the Stanley Fatmax has one under the chuck here. I don't really see any pros and cons with either of them. They both light up the area. Both styles light up the area that I'm drilling, and I can't fault either, to be honest. Another difference between these 3 drills is this Stanley one is the only one with a metal chuck. All the others have plastic chucks. So another feature on 2 of these drills is a battery charge indicator. Unfortunately the Hitachi doesn't have one. I think the newer Hikoki models do, but as I only have this one, I can only go on what I have. So the Stanley Fatmax one is here on top of the drill, so I push there, you'll see 3 lights come on. And the Aeg one is at the bottom of the battery here, and all 4 lights come on. Now these tests I've come up with are for the general use of the average DIYer. They're not for any trade person sort of use. These drills are mid-range drills aimed at your general DIYer. So these are the tests I've come up with. So the first test is a 22mm spade bit into this offcut of 75mm squared fence post. So I'm just going to time how long it takes to drill through, right through to the bottom. So for this next test, we're going to drill 8 holes in a standard house brick. I have 3 brand new 8mm masonry bits here with flag stops on, all at the same levels. So we're just going to time how quick it is to drill 8 holes to these depths with each drill. I will just say, each test I'm going to put the second battery on, so it's got a fully charged battery every time I do one of these tests. So the next test, as these are combi drills, is to time how long it takes to screw in these 3 lag bolts into this pressure treated wood. I have drilled 3 little pilot holes to the same depth for each drill, and I'll just push the lag bolts in as I go along screwing them in. So using this 20mm auger bit, I'm just going to drill into this piece of oak and see how far I can drill into it before the drill comes to a stop. So with those tests over, it was a little bit surprising with the Hitachi that it struggled to drill very deep into the oak with the auger bit, whereas between these two there was millimeters. I have done 3 other tests. So the first one was I weighed the weight of each of these 3 drills as a bare unit, because the batteries are all different sizes, they're going to weigh different weights, so it's not going to be a fair test with the batteries on. And Hitachi actually did win that one. It came in at 1.33 kilograms, followed by the Stanley at 1.34, so not much in between those two, and the Aeg actually weighed 1.41 kilograms. The other test that I did was I actually measured the length from the back of the drill to the front of the chuck, across like that, and again that was won by the Aeg. It come in at 183mm depth, the Stanley was 215 and Hitachi was 220mm. So again, not much between these two, as has been much the way through the tests. And then I just scored them on price. So as I've said before, this was £95, this was 100, this was 80. So this got 3 points for finishing first. This got 1 point for last, and obviously that got 2. So I've added up all the points, and the Aeg, as you probably would expect, being a brushless drill and the newest out of the 3 of them, finished top with 18 points. The Stanley came second, not far off with 15, so I'm quite impressed with that, as it's the cheapest one. Fortunately, the Hitachi came last with 9 points. So before people comment below, I've not done a fair test. I have done these tests based on the average user of these drills. They are mid-range drills. People are most likely to use them for drilling and screwing into pressure treated timber, drilling into masonry, boring out holes in fence posts, large thick wood, and general drilling into wood. Those are the topics I've covered, and taken on board the price, the weight, and how compact they are, because that's going to be another issue with some people. If they're going to use it in tight confined spaces, they're going to want something a bit more compact. So these tests were purely done for the average user. They're not for tradespeople. So if tradespeople comment below, oh, you haven't used this one, you haven't considered this drill. These drills I've bought with my own money. I've had this drill for 3 years, this one for 2, and this one a couple of weeks. Yes, I know the battery levels may have dropped on these two, but I do look after my kit and I do keep the batteries fully charged. They're in my garage, which is attached to my house, so it doesn't get too cold in here, and I know how to look after these batteries. Regardless of tool brands, I buy tools on how I see other people use them and how they perform. Now, since owning these two drills, I've been really happy with the performance of them. So you might ask, why have I recently purchased this Aeg one? Well, it's because if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I recently purchased quite a few Aeg cordless tools. Grinder, planer, router, reciprocating saw, and I bought some 4 amp hour batteries, I think they are, or 5 amp hour batteries. And I was looking for the internet and I found this one at a really reasonable price. I also bought the impact driver that goes with it as well, so it was just an extra addition to the kit I've already got, not to replace these two. So I will leave a link to each individual drill in the description box below to the cheapest place I can find selling them at the minute. They may not be the price that I bought them for, but they're the cheapest I can find them for at the minute. If it interests you, take a look at them and see what you think. So I hope this has been useful to some of you, if not all of you. Thanks for watching. Please comment and like this video if you did. If you didn't like it, dislike it. And think about subscribing, and I'll see you again next week.